The surveillance camera caught it all. A man in a hotel hallway, grabbing, punching, and dragging a woman as she desperately tried to escape. For years, this footage remained hidden, a dark secret buried beneath wealth and power.
Jury selection is officially underway in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Malas was in federal court today, and Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
Now, as the courtroom doors close behind Sean Diddy Combs, that video has become the cornerstone of a case that could bring down one of music's most powerful empires. The cold, sterile hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel looked like any other until March 5, 2016. What happened there remained hidden for years, until CNN obtained and released the shocking footage showing Sean Diddy Combs violently assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Combs wants that video, or videos, excluded from trial. And for that, we turn to his motion in limine to exclude video footage of that March 5th, 2016 incident. Motion in limine is a pretrial motion that aims at preventing evidence from coming into trial or limiting it in some way. And it starts by saying, quote, "There is no longer any dispute that the CNN footage from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel offered by the government at 3 separate bail hearings is wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence. As indicated below, CNN paid Redacted, don't know who this person is, Redacted, for footage, copied that footage in unknown ways, presented that footage out of order, and destroyed the original. Accordingly, all the footage from CNN is inaccurate and inadmissible. As for the 2 items of footage filmed by an iPhone 6, those pieces of footage are inaccurate and inadmissible as well for the reasons set out."
The video shows Diddy running after Cassie wearing only a towel, grabbing her by the back of the neck, throwing her to the ground, and kicking her while she's down. He then drags her back to their hotel room.
So difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, and go into rehab. Had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
The brutality captured in those 48 seconds sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and became the catalyst for the serious federal charges Diddy now faces. What makes this footage particularly damning is Diddy's changing story about it.
Combs requests from the court is to hold a hearing. And at this hearing, Combs explains that his team wants to call a forensic video analysis named Connor McCourt to show that this video evidence is inaccurate. Sean Combs' defense team argues the videos are unreliable, that they would unfairly confuse and mislead the jury, that they would be more prejudicial to Combs than it would provide any kind of relevant or probative value for the prosecution's case. They write, quote, "If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth a number well over the court's word limit." Again, the basic argument from Combs and his team is that CNN heavily and deceptively edited the video and turned about 10.5 minutes of footage into a 48-second, quote, out-of-order clip that ended with Combs appearing to drag redacted, again, we believe that to be Cassandra Ventura, to a hotel room. And they argue that this painted the rapper and the music mogul in the worst possible light for the world to see. And as they previously incorrectly mentioned, prosecutors relied on this tape in prior bail hearings to support their argument that Combs shouldn't be released pre-trial.
After CNN released the video, Diddy posted an Instagram apology, stating, "I was expletive, up. I hit rock bottom. My behavior in that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now."
Sean Diddy Combs looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right. Thanks to you, Aaron.
But just days later, that apology vanished. His legal team filed motions claiming the video was wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence.
When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it, because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail. I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel because he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway, when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling emergency type situations when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bruh.
This complete reversal, from admission to denial, has reportedly infuriated the jury pool and severely damaged his credibility before the trial even begins. Did you know that hotel security camera footage is typically stored for only 30 to 90 days at most properties? The fact that this video surfaced years later suggests someone intentionally preserved it, possibly anticipating it might be needed as evidence someday.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
The prosecution clearly considers this video crucial, as it establishes a pattern of control and abuse that supports their broader trafficking and racketeering charges. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers have filed desperate motions to exclude it, arguing, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth a number well over the court's word limit. But with CNN confirming they did not alter the footage and still possess the original recording, the defense's attempts to discredit this evidence seem increasingly futile. The metallic chill of those hotel corridors seems to echo through the courtroom as this video plays a central role in what could become one of the music industry's most consequential trials.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged, drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.
Beyond the hotel assault video, prosecutors have even more disturbing evidence: the freak-off tapes. These recordings were seized during FBI raids on Diddy's Miami mansion last year and allegedly document prolonged drug-fueled sexual encounters that form the basis of sex trafficking charges.
The other thing I wanted to ask you that I found fascinating is that Diddy reportedly yesterday asked that judge for a bathroom break, telling the judge, "I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today." Were you surprised that he admitted that? And what do you think that reveals about him ahead of opening statements?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that we are going to trial in under a year from when a defendant is arrested and indicted at the federal level doesn't happen. But Combs has been pushing towards this trial date. He doesn't want to spend one more day behind in federal lockup. Having said that, you're now at this case, and the government, this is the Southern District of New York, they don't move forward with the case unless they feel they have the goods. He's looking at not only life in prison, and the maximum charge, but potentially decades in prison. The third charge that he's facing, transportation to engage in prostitution, that can carry 10 years in prison, and some argue that's the most straightforward charge to actually convict him on. So I think he's feeling the weight of what's happening. Jury selection, a panel of his peers coming in to decide his fate. It is real right now for him.
Court documents reveal potential jurors are being explicitly asked if they can handle viewing these graphic recordings during the trial.
The judge has drilled down on some of those questions that they answer in the questionnaire to see whether or not they had any issues to serving in this trial.
Legal analysts confirm jurors will have to watch these tapes in court, in front of others. The prosecution alleges these recordings show how Diddy used his power, wealth, and influence to coerce victims into these freak-offs, providing drugs to ensure compliance, and then threatening them to maintain silence. The indictment describes a RICO enterprise operating for decades, with Diddy at its center, using intimidation to prevent victims from speaking out.
the jury sits, will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during the
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of people. So in front of victim one, whoever it may be, there's going to be played in the federal courtroom.
And victim one would have been made aware of this.
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
But don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't a civil case. This is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate. And they can say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against them. Keep calling her victim one, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter if she went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't care. Get you.
What makes these tapes particularly powerful as evidence is their metadata. Digital timestamps and location data that precisely place participants at specific properties on specific dates. This creates an unassailable timeline that corroborates victim testimony. Defense attorneys have filed motions to suppress these recordings, claiming the search warrants were overbroad and that everything that the feds seized as a result should be excluded. However, with multiple judges having already reviewed and approved these warrants, legal experts give these suppression attempts little chance of success.
So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
The courtroom will fall silent when Cassie Ventura takes the stand. Unlike other witnesses who will testify under pseudonyms, Cassie has chosen to use her real name.
All right, Cassie. She plans to testify against Diddy at the trial, and she's going to use her name. So a lot of the women who have accused Diddy are anonymous. They're right. Jane Doe or Victim One.
Or John Does.
Or John Does. But Cassie apparently is going to take this stand and talk about her obviously, that tape of him beating her up at the hotel is what set off this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this has just made it matters so bad for Diddy. So now that she is gonna sit up there and like look him square in the eyes and talk about her side of the story, that's not great for Diddy, obviously.
No, and like I think also Cassie is a celebrity, right? Like millennials know who she was or is. She had like a booming career back in the day. So I think it also adds some extra zhuzh when you have like a well-known public figure coming forward.
Trusted public figure.
Trusted and beloved
yeah.
too. So I think that also will hurt him. She of course became public. All of this went public when that video came out from CNN. So it's been revealed who she is already, and now she is not looking to conceal her name. She wants to, put it all out on the table. And yeah, yikes, it could be really bad for him.
A decision that speaks volumes about her determination to face her alleged abuser directly. For 11 years, Cassie was in a relationship with Diddy, and prosecutors believe her testimony will provide a devastating first-hand account of the alleged criminal enterprise.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, "While I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case."
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
Her civil lawsuit, filed in November 2023, described years of physical and emotional abuse, forced sexual encounters with male prostitutes, and multiple instances where Diddy allegedly used his influence to control and intimidate her. Although that civil suit was quickly settled out of court, the federal criminal case operates independently. As one legal analyst noted, even if Cassie didn't want to participate,
let's talk about the showdown in the courtroom over the bombshell video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Now, Diddy's lawyers are arguing to exclude the footage from the rapper's upcoming sex trafficking trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now with more on what this could mean for the high-profile case. So good to have you. Okay, so they want this video left out. What's their argument for this?
So, Mark Agnifilo, Sean Combs' attorney, is arguing that, you probably hear this phrase, this is not a true and accurate representation of what the video depicts. He's saying
the government could compel her testimony since crimes are against the United States. But by all accounts, she is cooperating willingly. The hotel's surveillance video showing her assault has already validated key aspects of her previous allegations.
So CNN has come out and said, we did not alter it. We did not change anything. And in fact, they're saying that they do have the original as well. So on multiple levels, Sean Combs' argument kind of falls flat because if it is sped up, and I think there is some degree of it's being sped up, if the original still exists, that can still be used as evidence against Sean Combs, not necessarily to the allegations of trafficking, RICO conspiracy, or the transportation for purpose of prostitution, but to show that this is a force that it was used to keep victim number one, who we believe to be Cassie in this video, under his control for the purpose of trafficking and this RICO conspiracy.
The trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, a judge has denied his request to delay the proceedings, and that means jury selection could start in just weeks. ABC's Phil Lipoff is tracking this case. Good morning, Phil.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. It looks like it's going to. Sean Combs' trial date is set to go on as expected Friday. A judge ruled Combs' criminal sex trafficking trial will begin next month as scheduled after he denied the defense's request for a 2-month adjournment. The trial is set to begin May 5th with jury selection. The judge said it was unclear why there isn't sufficient time to prepare, especially since 4 different law firms are now representing him. The judge agreed, however, to allow alleged victims to testify under pseudonyms, but one star witness, Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, is expected to testify under her own name. She filed, you'll remember, a quickly settled civil lawsuit against Combs. The judge agreed with a defense request to receive outtakes of interviews conducted for a documentary produced by Warner Brothers. Those interviews were conducted with potential trial witnesses. Combs appeared in Jailhouse Beige on Friday and was given a moment at the end of the hearing to communicate with his mother and one of his sons. He told them, "I love you and we're good." He has pleaded, we should mention, not guilty to all 5 federal counts and maintained his innocence in the civil suit,
giving her upcoming testimony extraordinary credibility. Coming from a well-known public figure adds significant weight to the case. For Diddy's defense team, Cassie's testimony presents a nearly insurmountable challenge. With the assault video already in evidence,
his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo,
made it very clear that race is going to be front and center.
Let's switch our focus to the government. In my opinion, I'm just going to say it the way it is. No friend historically of the successful black man. Okay? None. And they start making this case, in my opinion, as a takedown of a successful black man. Here's a man who has made some of the most important businesses owned by a black man. Run, owned, created, founded. The vision was that of a black man. What have we done? We have reduced him, not everyone, but a large amount of our society, to being a monster. That should make us shake in our boots.
So, Mark Agnifilo, obviously white.
Yes.
The co-counsel is Tenny Garrigus, white. And Mark Garrigus, her dad, who we're told is going to play a significant part in this case, white.
Well, and let's remember, you're going to have at least one witness and probably a parade of witnesses of black females who are going to claim they were victimized by Diddy. And so in order to give sort of a human face to that, maybe suggest that's not the case, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the jury is finding cues in every piece of evidence, but also who's representing him. And if they just have a bunch of white folks sort of defending him, all those black female alleged victims maybe going to look like they're being targeted by his high-priced legal.
Discrediting her account becomes extremely difficult. Their only apparent strategy involves claiming she was a willing participant in the encounters, an approach that seems increasingly tenuous given the visual evidence of abuse. In a pivotal moment that sealed his fate, Sean Diddy Combs officially rejected the government's plea offer. Standing in a baggy beige jail uniform before the judge, when asked if he was turning down the deal, Diddy answered simply, "Yes, I do, Your Honor." While the specific terms weren't disclosed publicly, prosecutors made it clear that accepting the plea would have resulted in a significantly shorter sentence than what Diddy now faces if convicted at trial. According to multiple sources, the deal would have required him to admit to the crimes and, crucially, identify co-conspirators in his alleged criminal enterprise. As the trial unfolds, its implications extend far beyond one man's fate. The entertainment industry watches nervously, aware that testimony could implicate other powerful figures or reveal systematic problems that have long been whispered about but rarely addressed. Already, major talent agencies have begun quietly rewriting their event protocols, implementing more transparent systems for reporting concerns, and establishing clear procedures for guests who feel uncomfortable. Insurance companies specializing in entertainment events are revising their requirements, now asking detailed questions about security arrangements and staff training. Several celebrities have been named as potential witnesses, including Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and Kanye West, though prosecutors emphasized they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. Their potential appearance adds another layer of high-profile attention to a case already under intense scrutiny. Since Diddy's arrest, reports to entertainment industry hotlines about concerning behavior have increased by over 35%, suggesting the case may already be empowering others to come forward with their experiences. Legislative action may follow as well. Several states are considering expanded protections for those who report misconduct in entertainment settings, including anonymous reporting systems and enhanced penalties for retaliation. These Cassie's laws, as some advocates have dubbed them, would create new accountability mechanisms in an industry historically resistant to outside oversight. As this trial begins in earnest, the stakes couldn't be higher. For Diddy, conviction could mean effectively spending the rest of his life in prison. For the alleged victims, it represents potential vindication after years of silence. For the entertainment industry, it may signal a fundamental shift in accountability. The prosecution's case appears methodically constructed, built on corroborated testimony, digital evidence with precise timestamps, and surveillance footage that directly contradicts Diddy's changing narratives. The defense, meanwhile, seems increasingly fractured, trying contradictory strategies while key attorneys abandon ship. Legal experts predict the trial will last approximately 2 months, with prosecutors front-loading their strongest evidence, likely beginning with the hotel assault video and Cassie's testimony. The defense will face the challenging task of explaining Diddy's contradictory statements about the video while trying to maintain credibility with the jury. Federal sentencing guidelines for sex trafficking convictions recommend a minimum of 15 years per count. With multiple charges, Diddy could face what amounts to a life sentence if convicted on even a portion of the indictment. As witnesses step forward, as evidence is presented, and as 12 jurors evaluate a case years in the making, we're witnessing not just a celebrity trial, but a potential inflection point in how power, influence, and accountability function in entertainment spaces. The sharp rap of the judge's gavel echoes not just through this courtroom, but throughout an industry long accustomed to controlling its own narrative. If you found this insight compelling, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the story behind the spotlight is just beginning.